Another issue that we're facing is companies, and the President has identified it and Congress has too, is companies are sitting on a lot of cash, $2 trillion, Tony. Do they have the moral requirement to invest, or what's going on?
Well, I don't think they have the moral requirement. I think, they obviously in our society, in a capitalistic system, are trying to work towards the benefit of their shareholders, and that's their duty. Many times it's a fiduciary duty to do that. But I think the reason that they're sitting on the sidelines is because of uncertainty. When people are uncertain, they're hesitant to invest. When we look back at economic recessions and the Great Depression, we certainly saw people that had means decided not to invest because they were uncertain that I may need those dollars tomorrow. If you think that you don't need to consume these dollars tomorrow and you're able, then you look at an investment potential of I can invest that tomorrow. I don't need those myself to consume.
But what about the other side? I mean, we're at a Jesuit Catholic university, 4 others, cursus personalis. I mean, Father, how do you see some of this? I mean, is there a responsibility? What is the corporate responsibility for our investment, or is there one?
Well, I think that's a very tough question. I think in many ways, to Tony's point, I think people are nervous, including corporate leaders, and they need to be careful and responsible for their assets. But at the same time, when is someone going to take a risk? Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that somebody will do those risks or take those risks. So I'm amazed by the amount of cash that people are sitting on, but at the same time, I can certainly understand that. And they're caught in the bind, though, too, as you pointed out. They need to be responsible for their shareholders and be good stewards of the money they have. Right. So something's got to give someplace, and I don't see anybody kind of moving forward.
Exactly,
it's
a matter of competence.
And one of the things that we do talk about with our students is, the black and white ethical problems are easy. Was Enron right or wrong? That's an easy question. It was wrong. It was illegal, etc. We're talking about the opportunity between two good things. Yep. Taking care of your shareholders, very good. Taking care of people in society, your employees, the people in your community, another good thing. Where do you draw the line of the balance between my duty to my shareholders, my duty to my community?
But also, we want that company to be in business a year from now, providing jobs. We certainly, none of us benefit from that company going down the tubes.
And I think many of those corporate leaders would say, if I was more certain that my company did not need this money tomorrow to make its bills, then we could afford to invest in plant and assets.
But there are some steps, for example, that could get some of it moving. For example, allowing companies to repatriate earnings from overseas, say taxing it instead of 35% at a 10% rate. Now the problem is, what would they do with it? They would bring it home. Would they distribute it in dividends? That's not so bad. Buy stocks? Not so bad. Invest, even better.
Ernie, I don't think anybody thinks that our taxing situation in this country is not broken. I think everybody you talk to thinks that it's broken. What we're really arguing is how do we fix it?
Yeah, exactly. If I had one wish and it came true, it'd be fundamental tax reform, not necessarily tax cuts or whatever, just fundamental reform.
But how would that look? I mean, from your point of view, what would that look like?
It would get rid of the loopholes. We've got loopholes. Everybody marches to Washington to get a loophole.
Yes, that is so true.
We have high tax rates, yet we have loopholes. For example, you can buy a 6,000-pound SUV. It's heavy. You get a tax benefit up $25,000 deduction. If that same vehicle is diesel, you get an $1,800 credit because it's efficient gasoline. Now, my students in my class say, "What? That doesn't make sense." Does not make sense. That's correct. So fundamental tax reform, we've got to have it. It'd be good for everybody. I think, Tony.
Right, and think of the amount of money that we're wasting in lobbying Congress. Give me this special deal. Give me this special deal back.
But I mean, that is the challenge, of course, with the role of lobbyists. And I think part of the frustration that people are demonstrating at Wall Street and around the country is that there's this lack of confidence as well in the leadership of the nation, and looking for some decisions to be made on behalf of the American people, and so I think that's part of the frustration as well.
Absolutely.
And clearly there's a role for lobbying. I don't take that away at all. Yeah. But at the same time too, there's that need to perhaps not perhaps, but it's certainly in D.C. to make some really tough decisions for the better good
Yeah,
of the
the
citizens
Simpson-
of this country.
Simpson Bowles Commission got some good things in there.